Clemson family, welcome back on this edition of Two Right Turns, a Clemson football podcast. We're talking all things transfer. Our guests are Jeremiah Alexander, Tristan Smith, and Will Heldt. Jeremiah tells us a little bit about battling through adversity as a five-star recruit. Tristan talks home-cooked meals with his mom. And Will Heldt tells us how Clemson, South Carolina loses its mind when a little bit of snow comes to the upstate. The next episode of Two Right Turns starts now.
They take those two right turns, and when they make the final turn, they can begin to hear the crowd and the noise of the open end of the stadium.
Here it is, the most exciting 25 seconds in college football.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Right Turns, a Clemson football podcast, coming to you not quite live from here in Studio C in the Clemson Athletics Branding Institute. It's the first episode of the 2025 offseason, and frankly, we got a couple guests that people are really excited to hear from. So let's not waste any time. I want to have you guys introduce yourselves, your name, your position, New Jersey number, and where you're coming from.
Jeremiah Alexander, coming from University of Alabama, born and raised in Birmingham, number 35.
Tristan Smith. I came from Southeast Missouri State University, born and raised in LaGrange, Georgia, and I'm wearing number 80 this season.
My name is Will Heldt. I'm coming from Purdue University, born and raised in Carmel, Indiana, and I'm a defensive end wearing 13 this year.
So right before this, we were taking the photos in Studio A to put on the thumbnail that everybody will have, pop up on their phones or Spotify or whatever as they're listening, and just felt like a class photo, man. Like you got to understand, I don't think we are quite as used to others having large transfer class or anything like that, but obviously three guys who have just joined us via transfer this offseason. I kind of just want to hear a little bit about your journeys, and we'll go chronologically in order of how you guys committed. I mean, Tristan, you were kind of the first on board publicly. Yes, obviously I don't want to steal all your thunder, but Georgia to Kansas to Missouri to Clemson. I mean, tell us a little bit of your journey of how you got here.
Yes, sir. So out of high school, I wasn't heavily recruited, being from a small town. So I decided to go the junior college route. And I had a couple junior college offers like Garden City, Hutchinson Community College, Highland, all the Kansas JUCO. So I decided I want to go play at Hutch. They play a good brand of football. So got up there, made the travel squad as a freshman, played 2 years there, picked up some offers, my second year. And I decided to commit to Southeast Missouri State University. So went there, had a great year, and really just, wanted to see, explore, out of the transfer portal. So I decided to take a gamble on myself and enter the portal. So, that's how I got here. So,
yeah, shout out SEMO, Cape Girardeau. Probably not a lot of people around here who know all about that. But what have you kind of learned at every stop along the way, and how is that benefiting you now?
What I've quite learned is the work is still the same. Everywhere I go, it's going to be the same amount of work being put in, whether it's here, whether it's at Hutch, whether it's at SEMO. So no matter where I go, it's always going to be the same work ethic. Whatever you put in is whatever you get out. So I just feel like, that's it. Like everywhere I go, it's the same amount of work. Just a lot of different people you see, a lot of different coaches. So, yes, sir.
And you were the first of the three to kind of publicly hop on board, but Will, you weren't far behind, and it seemed like we made you comfortable. You're coming from West Lafayette, and as soon as you get here, it drops to 20 degrees for 2 weeks and starts snowing. So whatever we could do to make you feel comfortable, I guess. Obviously, there's a tradition of great defensive line play here at Clemson, especially even over the last 15, 20 years. Was that something that attracted you here?
Yeah, no doubt. When I'm looking at going to a new university, I think a big thing is the track record of how they produce. Guys that look like me, guys that play like me. My position, and a lot that goes into that are the two coaches that are coaching the defensive line, Coach Rumpf and Coach Eason, and their track records, and the guys that they've produced.
And so walk me a little bit through your process. You're a guy that's had success at the power conference level. You have a coaching change at Purdue. Kind of what went into the decision to move on, and then from there, what was your mindset as you began to look around the country?
Yeah, it really was an extremely difficult decision, to leave my guys there. I love the people there, and it was a terribly hard decision for me, but it was for the best interest of my future, I feel, and the biggest thing for me was I just wanted to find a place where I knew I could win, and that's why I feel comfortable here. I feel comfortable with the guys that are coming back, the guys that we got in this locker room, and I'm just excited to get after it.
Well, we got a little state of Indiana flavor going on around here now. Tom Allen, of course, the new defensive coordinator, longtime coach in the state of Indiana, both at the high school and collegiate levels. Do I understand correctly? You've got a family tie to Brad Brownell, our head basketball coach?
Yes. So my dad grew up in the same town, Evansville, Indiana, as Brad Brownell, and my uncle was best friends and played basketball and baseball with Brad Brownell growing up. So. A little bit of a family tie, hometown to Clemson. Who would have thought
that? Yeah, that's kind of a small world. And actually, with news coming out of Tallahassee yesterday, Clemson will enter the next athletic and academic year with the longest tenured head coach in both football and men's basketball. And I don't know how many schools across the country can say that in their respective conferences. So, shout out Clemson men's basketball, obviously. Jeremiah, I want to get to you as well, man.
Yes, sir.
I mean, obviously a different situation. You had a much more extensive relationship with Clemson already based on your high school recruitment than these guys did.
Right.
What did you remember about Clemson from your high school recruiting process?
From high school, I solely remember, the campus being so beautiful, getting a tour of the campus and, the relationships that I was able to build as a high school recruit, kind of maintain. I wouldn't say maintain, but I was able to, come back after my time at University of Alabama. And it seemed like it hadn't skipped a beat with Coach Swinney, Coach Eason, of course, he's a good guy. Coach Ben, he played here. So, being around guys like that have a certain standard of football and, being around the game like Coach Eason played in the NFL. Ben was able to play in the NFL a little bit. And just being a Clemson guy, being able to be around him every day was something I remember, and just being able to come here and relive that.
All right, and then I got to ask, the logo on your shirt is what?
This is Thompson High School, where I play high school. Shout out to Coach Freeman. Great coach, great guy. Everything he's instilled in me has shown nothing but love and interest. So, I got to shout him out.
So the reason I bring that up is I was going to ask how much relationships factored into your decision because, as people are well aware, you are not the only Thompson High School product on our defense.
Yes, sir. Peter Woods, we was able to win 3 state championships together. So, that relationship we had growing up, even going back to youth league and growing up in elementary school, playing at Buck Creek together, and he was always a year under me, but, I would always hear about Peter Woods doing this and Peter Woods doing that, and you guys can see for yourselves how great of a player and person he is. So, that played a big role, being able to come over here and reunite with Peter Woods again, man. It's a blessing.
In this process, what did he tell you about his experience here at Clemson?
He told me everyone's genuine. This is a business-oriented game that we're in, but outside of football, it's personal relationship. Coach Eason, Coach Swinney, all these guys. It's just personal. It's more than football to these guys here. So that was something that opened up to me and wanted me to come make this decision to play here, Coach Swinney.
So I want to talk a little bit about your visits and your commitments as well. Tristan, I understand, did you commit in Coach Swinney's office?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that moment.
Okay, so I was actually on a visit to New Mexico State when I got this visit set up. So I was at New Mexico State on Saturday, and then I came to Clemson the Sunday. So it happened pretty fast. So it was a big turnaround, Then I got to Clemson, and I just, I was around the guys, all the players, all the coaches, and everybody just seemed so genuine and so nice. So I was like, man, I would love to come play here. But, I'm just thinking, I want to come play here, talk to Coach Swinney, talk to Coach Grish, talk to a lot of the players, talk to some of the guys I know from high school that I played against. So when it came down to it, Coach Swinney called me out of a segment meeting, and I didn't know how that meeting was going to go in his office. I'm not going to lie, I didn't know how it was going to go. So it was me and my brother, and we went to Coach Swinney's office and just talking to Coach Swinney, really just about life, outside of football. And, without the age gap and, we had some similarities. So just talking to him about, how we grew up, not one time did we mention football. So we grew up, we talked about how we grew up and, just things we've been around, all the grind and stuff we both been through. So when it came down to it, he just asked would I want to be a Clemson Tiger. So, and it's it was so surreal, I started crying. I'm not going to lie, I started crying. Me and my brother started crying because I feel like, I worked so hard, and my brother know how hard I worked. So, no doubt about it, I told him, yeah, I want to come here. So I want to come be a Clemson Tiger. So he said, yeah. I said, yeah, let's do it. Gave him a hug, and he gave me a token and walked out his office and went to practice. I was excited, so.
Hey, you don't have to. There's no shame in crying when you get a Clemson offer. Walker Parks has been very public in saying that he cried when he got a Clemson offer, and ain't nobody tougher than that dude. So
yes, sir.
If Walker can admit that, then you're in good company here. But obviously, you got a guy coming from the Big Ten, from the SEC. For you, with the uniqueness of your journey, did it feel like a little bit of a culmination of a dream in that moment?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I never thought I would like be here. So it's like whenever I committed, it was like, man, like I was ready to post. Like I was ready to post when I committed. I was ready to tell my mom. I called my mom. She was crying. She was so happy. But you can hear it in her voice. It was like tears of joy. So I got a sense of like, you know, getting to the next level, getting to the next step in my book. So it was the best time, the best day of my life so far. So.
And then, Will, for you, if I recall correctly, it seemed like your family was with you every step of the way. It seemed like you had a great support system to lean on. But I understand as well that a lot of Clemson's current roster and current leadership had a big part in trying to recruit you here. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. Just I think one of the biggest things was getting around the guys, you know. Kind of like they've mentioned, like it really is like unique here. It's different. Like you walk around the building, you don't walk past anybody without saying what's up to anybody. So it really is just a surreal like build-in moment here where just everybody knows everybody. It's a real tight-knit group.
Who all had a piece of that? Did I understand that some of the leaders came over to Coach's house for your dinner over there to meet with you?
Yeah, so that was actually a little overwhelming, but also awesome. So I was just coming from another visit, and so Ty picked me up, director of recruiting Ty picked me up from the airport, took me straight to Coach Swinney's house. I had no idea what to expect. I just knew we were gonna have dinner with Coach Swinney. I was like, oh wow, like Dabo Swinney dinner at his house, like that's crazy. But and then we roll up, and you know there's 20 players and like it's what seemed like the entire coaching staff, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know what to think, but. You know, it was a cool moment, you know, to just finally get around and start feel what it really was like around here.
And I imagine it had to feel a little odd or maybe a little bit surprising given what some of the discussion around Clemson looking to bring in a more veteran guy and maybe what that might be like. But to feel that love immediately, what did that feel like?
Yeah, you know, like you hear things through the media and you know about Coach Swinney and about Clemson and. You know, it really just comes down to when you meet him and you get to know him. I mean, there's nobody more genuine than him, and kind of like what Tristan was saying. Like when you talk to him, like you talk a little football, but you're really just talking person to person, heart to heart, and you know he's getting to know you. You're talking about how you grew up, you know, the experiences you've had throughout your life, and you know, it really is a true connection.
And again, Jeremiah, you had a little bit of a head start compared to these other guys in terms of the relationships and knowing Coach Swinney. I mean, what was it like for you to kind of reconnect, rekindle, and not have to start from scratch? What was that like on your visit?
Yeah, it was definitely an easier decision, having been that I had already had a relationship with him in high school. And then, you know, he's from Pelham, Alabama, and that's probably 13, 15 minutes away from my hometown. So being able to relate where we come from and just, you know, ball, you know, he growing up playing a whole bunch of sports, him playing at Alabama, being a receiver, you know, it's just kind of everything that he did in his life is sort of kind of like lined up in my life. So, you know, I thank God for putting somebody like Coach Swinney in my life because, you know, in high school he was a great guy and he was able to come get me out of the portal. Like, you know, just having that relationship out of high school I felt like was something that helped me be able to come here out of the portal just due to the relationship and the guy that he is and the people that he connects with because he was able to connect with me.
Well, and one of the reasons I love this format and being able to chat with you guys is because you're talking about, you know, what people say about Clemson in the portal. And Coach Swinney, to his credit, has always said, you know, hey, we'll go fill roster gaps if we have them, if we need to address them. But most importantly, it's got to be the right fit, right? Where, you know, being a good football player is just one of the prerequisites. You got to be a great person. You got to be a good student. You got to be a good culture fit. And it seems like all three of you have kind of seamlessly blended into that. But I think everyone on the outside views this like NFL free agency, right? You just drop in, find an apartment, play ball, and figure it out from there. But, like, y'all are young people getting degrees, going to class, like, making friends around here. Tell me a little bit about the process of being a transfer and trying to get your feet on the ground and learn a new place and get settled in school. What is that like?
For me, you know, playing at Alabama for 3 years, playing under Coach Saban, staying with Coach DeBoer at his first season at Alabama, you know, coming into the transfer portal was something I probably never envisioned me doing, especially coming out of high school. But, you know, God doesn't make any mistakes. So, you know, I just had to, like Tristan said earlier, trust himself, bet on himself, and make the decision to do that. But being in the portal and making that transition is a lot of factors that people outside of it don't really understand. And having to get your degree transferred over or your credits transferred over, I had waited to after the bowl game, so I was coming in trying to get in classes late. So it was kind of a force, but at the same time, it's going to be a blessing in the long run. I can believe that this is the right place for me and my family. So, but a lot of people don't know how the transfer portal really gets. But though, it's definitely deeper than what, the outsiders or fans would regulate.
I just feel like, I just wanted to bet on myself, entering the transfer portal. I didn't know what I was going to get. I didn't know what level I was going to play at, whether I was going to get more FCS offers or FBS offers. So it was kind of like a decision I made on my own. Nobody knew I was going to hit the portal. Nobody knew. Nobody on the team, none of my coaches. But when it came down to it, I was just like, I just got to, get to the next level, go higher. So, and that's the game, just, keep going and keep going and keep going. So I feel like just the transfer portal process for me, it wasn't quick. I hit the portal a week before I announced it, and I hit it officially on the night. Had a lot of coaches talking to me, a lot of schools. So, a lot of schools were talking about getting me on visits and stuff, but when I took the Clemson visit, that's the only visit I wanted to come on. That's what I told Coach. He was like, do I have any other visits? After he said I can commit here, I said, Coach, I do, but I'm not going to go on those visits. I want to come here. So I feel like it just happened pretty fast, and I feel like I made a great decision in coming here.
Yeah, I would say probably the most misunderstood piece of the portal is just how fast it is.
Yeah.
Because when you experience high school recruiting, it happens over 1, 2, 3 years, and you slowly build a relationship with coaches, guys on the team, kind of get a feel for what their school is like. But when you get in the portal, it's like you get in the portal, your number gets out there, and then just all crap breaks loose. Really, like you start thinking about where you're going to visit, and you start narrowing it down. Like, what do you really want? And it really is overwhelming, how fast it goes. But I think the biggest thing for me was just once I got on campus, you really start to feel at home, and you can really start to see yourself there.
I'm curious for the three of you, what your first memories of Clemson are. Do you remember watching Clemson on TV when you were young? Did you ever play with Clemson in a video game? Like, for you, when you think about your connection to Clemson before you ended up here, what was the first memory you have of it?
Probably watching them in the Natties. For me, I didn't really have any personal connections here besides Brad Brownell and now Coach Allen being here. I knew him in high school. But yeah, probably watching Clemson win the national championships.
Yeah, Tristan?
I would say my earliest memory, I was in the 8th grade, and like I said, I'm from LaGrange, Georgia, so we was playing teams like Sandy Creek, Cartersville. So I'm pretty sure you know Trevor Lawrence. So we played Trevor Lawrence. I think he broke a couple records against us. So all I knew that he was going to Clemson, and I was like, oh man, I ain't know really nothing about it. But I started watching him and just watching T. Higgins, Justin Ross, watching a couple receivers, receiver highlights on YouTube and stuff, trying to learn, some game from them. AJ Terrell, watched a good bit of him. And it kind of fell away, when I got to college and stuff, basically just trying to focus on, the school that I was at. And then, like I said, I put my number on my Twitter. I put my number on my Twitter. And so it was a bunch of random teams, random numbers calling me, and I never picked up. And then Coach Swinney called me one day, but I didn't know it was him. It was just a random number. So I let it ring. I let it run for a little bit. And I think I waited till like the last ring, and then I picked it up, and I just see him smiling. He just like this, smiling on the phone. So that's my best memory. So, yes, sir.
For me, we played Central my freshman year in high school. They had guys like E.J. Williams, the receiver that came here. Justin Ross played at Central, I believe. And, that's my first time I could remember, thinking about Clemson and what they have to bring to the table, or just Clemson University in general. So, and then after I got, Clemson offers late. So it was like my junior year, I had got an offer from Clemson, and I remember E.J. Williams hitting me up. So this probably goes back to my high school days, hearing about Justin Ross.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talent pulled out by Clemson of those Alabama State title games, and there's some Thompson High Phoenix City Central High rivalry in this building.
Yeah,
TJ
right.
Parker and
Yes,
Caleb
sir.
Nix on
Yes, sir.
that side, and you and Peter on the Thompson side. So that's got some roots in this building for sure. All three of you touched on it a little bit, but I want to hear a little bit more about what Coach Swinney's message to you all was during the recruiting process. And not necessarily what was promised, so to speak, but what is it that he sold you on Clemson?
I remember sitting in his office, and first thing he told me and my family was he's going to love it here. You know, he's going to be able to enjoy his life as a person and also as a player. You know, he said he was going to be able to mold me into the best person I can be on and off the field and push me to my limits. And something he repeatedly said throughout the day was, as a man thinketh, so is he. And, you know, he has a big reflection of a little tiger and then a big tiger. And so that's kind of sits in my heart because a lot of stuff I went through, everybody goes through stuff, but, you know, 5-star kid coming out of high school, going to University of Alabama and having to go through the adversity. And, you know, it can really put a lot in your mind. And, you know, you get distracted by a lot of stuff. But, you know, like Coach Swinney says, man, as a man thinketh, so is he. So you just been able to look in the mirror and, you know, be confident in who you are and who you're going to become.
Coach Swinney, he was just really just saying, you know, he kept bringing up the Paul Journey program. So, like I said, he wasn't really talking about football. So he was promising me, I come here, I'm going to leave a better man. You know, he told me I can play football right now, but it's not, I can't play it forever. So I'm going to get a degree from here. He told me I was going to get a degree from here and that I was going to leave, you know, being successful. You know, I will always have a tie with Clemson. As well as, you know, former players, they come back, Taj Boyd, just, you know, looking at people like that. So really just after my time here at Clemson, which might be a short time, so I will always have ties, you know, with Clemson. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, kind of on par with them. I think the biggest thing that Coach Swinney was kind of hitting on was just your development as a man, really. You know, that's academically, you know, that's spiritually. That's athletically also, and he would preach on the fact that, you know, we're going to win games while we're here, and, you know, the football will have its time, but what's bigger than that is the connections that we'll have and that we'll have for life.
Yeah, and you guys will come to find out if you haven't already, just from the outpouring of support y'all received when you committed here. I mean, the Clemson family thing is real.
Yeah.
Very much that support, not only within this building, but just anyone who is tangentially connected to this university, I think, kind of feels it. So these first several weeks, as we've now gotten into February, I mean, how have they been? And has there been anything that surprised y'all about Clemson?
As I don't have to do it, but I heard, you know, freshmen, 10 hours of Triple E, where they got to sit in study hall for 10 hours. That's that blew my mind. So other than that, though, you feel me? Nothing for real. Just excited to be here, man. Blessed for this opportunity.
Hey, I'll tell you though. I mean, Clemson 2 years in a row has posted the highest graduation success rate in of a public Power 5 school in the 20-year history that the NCAA has tracked that metric. That doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
You know, freshmen buy in early, understand what they need to do, and then once they prove they can handle it, kind of move on out.
Right.
But yeah, that's a wake up call for the freshmen
No
for
doubt.
sure. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I feel like with me, it's a lot of walking. Everywhere you go, you're going to walk. So.
And it's not flat.
Yeah, it's not
It
flat.
ain't
You're
flat.
going up a lot of hills,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of turns, twists and stuff. So a lot of walking. But I don't have any Triple E hours, you know, so I don't know nothing about that. But really what surprised me is like how quick I bonded with these players and my teammates, you know, and the freshmen. And, you know, really just bonding with everybody. I mean, I've only been here a month, but, it feels like I've been here a year, 2 years. So I feel like what surprised me is how quickly, you know, I got to know each other. Like, I got to know the players. And it's like we joke, like we've been friends, you know, we've been growing up. So, I mean, the connection with this team is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think getting here the first couple of weeks was a little chaotic, but kind of once I settled in, it's been amazing. The people here, not only in the building but outside the building, are so welcoming and kind, just offering their support in any way. But you know, it really has been awesome. I would say the most surprising thing to me, being an Indiana guy, is how wildly everyone reacted to seeing snow. We got about like an inch, maybe inch and a half of snow, and everybody acted like
class.
Yeah, everybody acted like the world was ending.
Like it was normal.
Yeah.
People went bananas.
Yeah. I think I had class canceled the other day just because it was like 30 degrees, which is unheard of.
Yeah, call that what, April and West
Yeah.
Lafayette?
Yeah. Maybe even May.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we'll get back to your journeys in a minute. Real quick, we're going to take a quick pit stop presented by our friends at Darlington Raceway. And we're going to put 1 minute on the clock, and I just want to hit you guys with a couple rapid-fire questions. It'll be this or that, and we'll just go around the room as quickly as we can. We're going to try to hit as many as we can in that 1 minute. So, Joe Robbins, whenever you're ready, hit the timer. All right, burgers or pizza?
Burger.
20 degrees outside or 102 degrees outside?
20 degrees.
Same for you, 20 degrees or 102 degrees?
20.
Pre-game music, would you rather get hyped or settle down?
Settle down.
Get hyped or settle down?
Settle down.
Settled.
Cooler highlight, mossing a defensive back or a big hit on defense?
Big hit on defense.
Mossing a defensive back.
Easy. Big hit.
Yeah, that tracks offense versus defense. Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok?
Instagram.
Instagram.
Clean sweep. FaceTime or texting?
Texting.
FaceTime.
Madden or college football 25?
EA 25. College football. Need
College
it.
football.
NCAA.
My guys. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Both.
Early bird for sure.
Will, for you, speed or power?
Power.
Tristan, jump ball or double move?
Jump ball.
Jeremiah, forced fumble or interception?
Interception.
We're going to squeeze last one in here. Sport you play if you couldn't play football?
Soccer.
Batman.
Baseball.
Did you say badminton?
Yeah.
That is an off the board one. I would not have
It was the first
expected
thing
that.
on my mind. So yeah. I meant to say basketball.
Yeah, it's slightly different, but yeah, I would have lost money betting on badminton on that one. So
Yes, sir.
that segment was presented by Darlington Raceway. Be a part of the track's 75th anniversary and the official throwback weekend of NASCAR. Log on to darlingtonraceway.com for your tickets to the track that's too tough to tame. It's fun for everyone. Now, back to Two Right Turns. To get back to you guys, and we can learn something about you guys in 59 seconds right there, which is awesome. But one of the things that people in the scouting community seem to love is player comps, right? Of who does this guy stylistically remind us of? And for our fans that haven't seen you guys play that much, I want to know, are there certain guys that y'all model your games after, or you watched growing up, or you watch now, someone that you think your style of play might reflect?
Yeah, I think for me, my pro comp and kind of the guy that I like to study a lot and break down his rushes is Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
I think we have really similar body types and similar abilities. So I think breaking down, what he does, his technique and, how he mixes his rushes up, I definitely model some of my game after him.
I watch a lot of receivers, so I feel like it's two types of receivers. You're either a tall jump ball guy or a short, speedy guy. So I mainly, surprisingly watch short, speedy guys. So, I can pick up on their game and, do both. So I can be a jump ball guy or a speedy, yak, yards at the catch guy. So I watch a lot of highlights. George Pickens, one of them, Justin Ross, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. I just watch a lot of highlights. I watch a lot of people from here, T.J. Moore, Brian Wesco, Antonio. I watch a lot of receivers, so yes, sir.
For me, growing up in high school, playing the position I play, edge rusher, I watched a lot of Von Miller.
Okay.
Simply because his height, we're about the same height in terms of our length coming off the edge. And, recently I made the transition to playing off-ball backer, so I've watched a little bit of everybody. Bobby Wagner, I like Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen played at LSU not too long ago. I remember watching him in the national championship. So, I like.
So do we, unfortunately.
I just like how he plays and his style of play, his swag, everything. So Patrick Queen is one of the guys I like to watch.
It's good. You guys mentioned the way your teammates have kind of accepted you already, and it seems like y'all have very seamlessly fit in. Who are some of your teammates who have made an impression on you, whether that's reaching out to kind of bring you into the fold or get your feet on the ground here, or someone that even with the off-season program having started, who y'all watched working out, who has made an impression on you so far?
Obviously, Peter Woods, none to say. TJ Parker being a Bama guy, and also Drew Woodass, he's hilarious, man. He has a big personality, man, and he's a guy that has since day one has just been cracking jokes with me. So he made it kind of easier for the transition.
All the receivers. Before I got here, I was searching them up on Instagram, trying to get in contact with them. So I've been talking to a lot of them. TJ, I be with them almost every day, just getting to know him a little bit. I be with a couple guys, Ashton Hampton, CJ. Really just a lot of receivers. Tone, Brian Wesco, he's hilarious. Like, I would have never thought he played like that because he's so hilarious. So Chase, like, really all my guys. It's kind of hard to pick one because everybody, they bring something to the table, something different every day. So like everybody, I feel like. Yes, sir.
I think for me it'd probably be Cade Klubnik and Ronan Hannafin.
Yeah.
Kind of my first week here, I was looking for a place to go to church. So I kind of hit them up. I was like, yo, like, where do you guys go to church? They let me know. And, I think we've built a pretty solid connection, only having known each other for a few weeks, just based off that alone. But I think other than that, just all the D linemen, all the guys that, I'm consistently putting the work in side by side with every day, just getting extra work in with them and, getting to know them.
And this has been a tough time to get onboarded, too, because you guys arrived here pretty much right as the NCAA contact period for recruiting started. So a lot of the coaches were all over the country recruiting for the last month or so. But how have you all been able to build relationships with the coaches and the support staff?
With me, Coach Ben, going to lunch with him a couple times. Coach Allen, he has a son named the same. So Coach Allen, he's been upstairs getting the defensive scheme right. So going in and up there with the defensive staff meeting room, just in and out of there, meeting with him and his son, going over the scheme. So Coach Swinney, I just saw him yesterday in the training room. I think he just got back for the first day yesterday. So, but other than that, those are the only guys that I've been in contact with.
Coach Grish, he been on the road a lot, but he still always find a way to text me and make sure I'm doing good. Make sure I'm going to class, make sure I'm doing everything, making sure the transition is right. So Coach Grish really just making sure, everything I do is A1, top tier. So I've been having some good conversations, some laughter with him. So Coach Grish, I've been in contact with.
Yeah, like you said, most of the coaching staff has been kind of on the road. So talking to Coach Rump on the phone, here and there. But I think mainly for me has been Coach D-Love, the D-line strength coach. I think getting to know him has been awesome. And, learning what they do here and, how they get after in the weight room has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you brought up Von Miller earlier. So D-Love returned to Clemson. He had a stint at Clemson, then went and was with the Denver Broncos for a little while, I believe, when Von Miller was there. So you talk about a guy who's trained some dudes and a guy who knows what he's doing. Shout out Dennis Love down in the weight room. So as we kind of come to the conclusion of this, obviously we have an international audience and a national brand, but for the most part, it is Clemson fans who are the ones that are watching this, especially watching this deep into the podcast. They're going to get to watch you play, obviously, but we got a while until we open up with LSU. What do you want Clemson fans to know about you as a person and as a player?
Me, man, I feel like I'm energetic and I'm just a go-getter for real, man. I just love ball. I love interaction. I love building relationships with people. I feel like relationships go a long way. And, without relationships, I just feel like there's no point in living for real. So just being able to connect with people on the field and off the field.
I would say as a player, they already got some good talent, so I'm just adding to that talent. So it's not gonna be no drop off. All the receivers, every single last one of our receivers, like they're gonna come in and make a play. So I feel like they're gonna get a lot of big plays out of me, a lot of dancing. So and as a person, just somebody that's energetic. I love to have fun. I love doing everything right. I like being on time. Stuff like that. So just really just being accountable. I'm an accountable person. So yes, sir.
I think about me, kind of as a person, is first and foremost a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm a family-oriented guy. Love hanging out with my friends, and I think as a player, I think just look for me to have fun. I think that's the biggest thing for me is if I'm not having fun with it, then what's the point of doing it? You know what I mean?
So I got one last fun one because I heard on your visit, usually folks will come in on an official visit and it's a nice steak or maybe they'll cater in some Tex-Mex or something like that. You had a specific preference, which is one I had not heard before. Do you remember what you ate once you arrived here for your official visit?
I think I had some seafood.
I was told oysters,
yeah,
which I think was like a first
that
for
was,
us, and
that
a very
was,
specific one.
That was really my mom. She pointed out the oysters. I'm not really a big oyster guy.
Okay.
I'm more of a crab leg,
Yeah.
But the oysters, my mom loves oysters, so that wasn't my per se, but They asked us as a family, so that's what my mom wanted to put on there with some oysters for her.
So real quick, blank check. You guys get like one meal and it's on Clemson's dime. What are you guys ordering?
Is this like last meal or is this just one meal?
No, I'm not going to kill you or anything. I just want to feed you.
If it was me, I would probably. It's not an expensive meal, but I would have somebody fly home, pick up some crafters from Carmel, Indiana, and fly it back to me. Give me some buffalo wings and some pretzel breadsticks.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick up on what he said. Really, just have somebody go home and let my mama cook and bring it back. Really, that's all. Just my mom's cooking.
What's the best thing she makes?
Everything. I mean, it's not something specific, but
give me an example.
She cook a lot.
What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Chicken tacos.
Okay.
She know that's my favorite meal. Every time I come home, she cook it. But she can cook some hamburgers, everything, any Southern food she can cook. So really just a meal for my mom coming back. I mean, that'll be the best meal for me. So.
Shout out moms that can cook.
Yeah.
Shout out moms that can cook.
Me, man? That's a good question. I try to eat clean usually, keep it simple. Probably a California burrito. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that, had one, but it got like French fries in it and some more, so it's a good taste. Y'all gotta try it.
Yeah, I gotta try that one. I ain't never heard of that one.
I never heard of that.
You gotta try that.
That's a Southern thing or what? Like,
no,
man, I had it when I was in Tampa. Like, so I don't know too much. No, I had it one time, but it was definitely something I need to get back into.
Maybe don't do that for lunch if you're in the 1 p.m. lift group.
That's not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend doing that too often, for real. Once in a blue moon type of thing.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, so as our fans get to know you, I just wanted to offer you guys the opportunity. Where can our fans find you guys on social media? What names should they look up to find you?
So my Instagram is 7R. It's kind of hard to spell. It's 7R1STAN 2_. That's my Instagram. That's where I be on the most. So that's what where you get all the daily post about me and Clemson football. So everything about my life is on Instagram.
There you go.
Yeah, just look up Will Heldt on Instagram. I think it's Will_Heldt. If you want to tap in, see what I got going on, Will Heldt on Instagram.
Jeremiah?
My Instagram, JeremiahAlexander.7. Y'all guys can go tap in, follow me over there, man. I look forward to getting to know more of the fans. Y'all guys have been welcoming so far, man, so I'm excited for the journey that awaits.
Guys, this has been awesome. I really appreciate y'all taking out time for this, getting to know y'all a little bit better. I know our fans do as well. I mean, y'all have felt the excitement, I think, and I think seeing the excitement, and even inside this building with the coaches and players that are here, we're really excited to have you here. So with that'll do it from Studio C, the Clemson Athletics Branding Institute. This has been another episode of Two Right Turns. Make sure to like and subscribe everywhere you listen and watch.